The beginning of the end. The strong wind whistles through the pine trees as I try to close my eyes. The cold begins to drift into my small room, and I gather the warm covers around my body. After 2 hours of tossing and turning, I fling my legs over the bed and try to regain my balance. I struggle to find my slippers in the dark room as my feet scream with pain. I shuffle into the bathroom and flick on the light. I look into the mirror and see a quick flash of movement. I whip around and see my parrot, Freddy, perched on the towel rack with a mischievous look on his eye. "How did you get here, you fat bird?" I said in a playful tone. He starts to bob his head up and down and starts repeating, "Oh yeah," in a very provocative and creepy way. I assume he heard it on TV and will stop saying it when it gets old. I walk down the steep stairs, and see the door of his cage wide open. I think nothing of it and place him gently inside. I make sure to lock and close the cage so he doesn't give me a heart attack again. As I'm walking back upstairs, finally feeling tired enough to sleep, I see a long black hair of a banister. I pick it up and look at it closely. The hair is very coarse and long, with lots of breakages and dryness. How odd. I throw it in the trash and fall onto my bed, exhausted at last. Part 2, The Reckoning. I wake up feeling completely exhausted as usual. I roll out of bed and begin to get dressed for work. Being a professional photographer, I choose my own schedule, but continue to mislead with early morning appointments. What? I glance out the window and see it's incredibly dark and stormy. I call my client and cancel, as she was having an outdoor arrangement shoot, and reschedule for this weekend. Secretly relieved, I grab my laptop and edit some of the previous photos from a shoot a couple days ago. My eyes start to droop, and I finally drift off to sleep. I jolt upright and feel cool air against my sweaty back. I shake my head to try to clear the remnants of my terrifying nightmare. The memories begin to fade away quickly, but one remains. I try to remove the scene, but it's ingrained in my mind. I'm standing in the middle of my photo room as the feelings of coarse hair brushes against my legs, arms, and face, suffocating me as I collapse onto the ground with exhaustion. The stench overwhelms me, and my vision begins to blur as my memory fades out. Part 3, The Appearance. As I'm sitting on the countertop of my kitchen, a strange smell drifts into my nostrils. It feels strangely familiar. I swivel around and see nothing, probably just the septic tanker heating. I move back and continue eating. Suddenly, a large thud resonates through the house. Startled, I fall off my chair and look behind me. I start to scream, but my throat closes up with all the consuming fear. I frantically scramble backwards, crawling at the hardwood floor. He gives me a crazed grin and says, "The cat in the hat is here and ready to destroy your rear." Part 4, Physical Assault. I stare in shock at the disgusting fat creature. He stands nearly 7 feet tall, with all the physical aspects of a cat, but in human form. His coarse black hair looks like porcupine quills, and his stench is completely overwhelming. I can't move as his yellow slanted eyes ravish my body. Pressed up against a wall, I have no means of escape. He creeps closer and runs his feathery fingers across my face. I whimper in disgust. While maintaining intense eye contact, he removes his tall striped red and white hat and places it on my head. "Why me?" I whisper in desperation. He doesn't utter a word as he swishes his revolting tail against my legs. indicating that he is about to do what he's about to do next is going to haunt me for the rest of my days. Part 5: Sexual Assault. I close my eyes and feel and smell him move closer to my tense body. I feel his muscular arms pick me up as if I weighed nothing. He carries me like a newborn baby into the kitchen. He lays my body on a cold, hard countertop. I shiver violently and open my eyes to see his nauseating face within inches of mine. I begin to react as he smashes his mouth against mine, pushing his grating tongue roughly into my mouth. I try to turn away, but he clamps his paws around my face, dashing any possibility of escape. He shifts his enormous body onto mine, pinning me down. I writhe in desperation, but it just seems to make him even more aggressive. His mouth begins to wander from my mouth, and he pins my arms above my head. His strength is terrifying. I begin to cry out, "Please, no! Please! Why are you doing this to me? Please!" The creature flashes his uncomfortably perfect white teeth and purrs. "Why? I'm the Cat in the Hat, you see, and I'm going to give you hepatitis C." My eyes widen with fear as he begins to remove my clothes with his sharp, dirty claws. Shame fills my heart. He throatily utters, "Hemina, Hemina, Hemina, I'm going to get beastly, so get ready for some homosexuality." I yelp in alarm as his hairy mouth wanders across my abdomen towards my groin. Part 6: Rapture. He then, surprisingly, throws my naked body over his broad shoulders and carries me to my couch. He reaches for the large hat perched on my head and caresses my face as he pulls it towards him. My body reacts violently in spasms. He then pulls out a fuzzy pair of handcuffs. He gives me a disturbing look and leans over my exposed body, brushing his thick tail over my genitals. He snaps the handcuffs on violently, attaching them to a radiator above my head. I struggle against the restraints, but realize what would happen to my body as the cat flashes a wicked grin, enjoying watching me struggle. He then moves off the couch swiftly and disappears into the photo room. In his absence, I strain against the handcuffs and rock my body violently against the couch. The Cat in the Hat returns with the camera as I stare in disbelief. He raises it dramatically to his glowing eyes and snaps a picture of me. I turn away, feeling humiliated. Quick as lightning, the cat pounces on my body as if I am prey. He bares his teeth into my crooked smile. Or he bares his teeth in a crooked smile as he violently grabs my penis with his enormous paws. I yell with surprise, and he stuffs a hairball in my mouth. The horrifying creature starts purring and moves his disgusting, hairy ass over my head as he shifts his mouth over my penis. My eyes begin to water excessively from the smell of cat urine and human feces on the cat's gigantic ass. His tail starts to swish around my head and wraps around my throat. I start to struggle for air as my windpipe constricts and begin to lose consciousness, but not before I utter a disturbing grunt and ejaculate into the Cat in the Hat's waiting mouth. Part 7: Shame. I unfortunately wake up and see that the day has turned into night. I don't even want to think about what that monster did to me after I passed out. I glance around and see that I'm in my bedroom with all four limbs strapped to a bedpost, naked, candles over the nightstand and the floor, creating an ominous splash of light on the walls. I strain against the leather straps, but my efforts are futile. As always, I hear a creak in the floorboards, and light floods into the room. I squint my eyes and see the silhouette of the cat in the hat. He growls, "Now that you're awake, I can make your body ache." He moves quicker than anything I've ever seen. He pounces on me, and I feel his massive member throbbing. I whimper softly. The cat cuts the leg ropes and swipes and with a swipe of his claws and flips me over effortlessly. I try to speak or scream or make any sound, but my throat is raw from I don't know what. Without warning, the cat shoves his colossal penis into my anus. He starts aggressively he starts aggressively thrusting, and my body can't fight back anymore. Tears stream down my face. He keeps going and going and going without pause until I go numb with pain. The smell of his sweat and bristly hair against my thighs is faded into the background. I feel the cat start to orgasm and lay limply while he finishes. He smacks my ass in one final hurrah as he collapses in exhaustion next to me. He presses his fat stomach against me and hugs every last inch of my body. He places his mouth against my ear and whispers, "Now lay face down. It's time to go to Pound Town." I close my eyes in resignation as one single tear rolls down my face. The end.